All right, hello Twitch. We are here. It is 9:37 on a Monday night, January 31st, 2022. I'm here with the New York Knick, my friend Nick Krantz. Nick, why don't you tell us a little about your podcast before we get started here? You're going to be starting that back up.
So
get a little plug in there.
Yeah, thanks. So a friend of mine, Kenny, we do a podcast, mostly talk about sports. The New York Knick podcast. We live stream on Facebook and YouTube. It's the NYNICK. We can have guests, we can have live callers, we can do a lot of different things. So that's going to be starting back up probably next week.
And you usually do that Mondays, right?
We usually do it Mondays. We might have to change the day. We're not sure yet, but we'll definitely let you know.
So go check that out. So I thought, something a little different. The NFL championship games for this weekend. The AFC Championship game and the NFC Championship game, of course, was yesterday. So I wanted to have Nick on. We'll talk about a little playoffs and we'll talk the Super Bowl predictions. Now, obviously, let's start off with the AFC, the first game, where the Cincinnati Bengals took on the Kansas City Chiefs. And the Chiefs, obviously, were the favorite team. And they could not pull it off. Cincinnati with the big upset, I think. What about you?
Yeah, I think it was a big upset. I thought Cincinnati didn't have a shot in this game at all. I thought it was going to be a blowout. Up until the last play of the first half, I thought it was going to be a blowout.
And it looked like that, right? Right in the first quarter it was all Kansas City. I thought they couldn't handle Patrick Mahomes. They couldn't get a handle on him. They scored I think 21 points in the first quarter. Was it?
Yeah, I think actually I took a note. It was I took a note 21-3 game over.
Right.
And I thought right, I'm like, this game's over already because when Kansas City got the ball with a minute left before the half and they started driving down the field, you had a sense of they're going to put this game away right now. Because if they score, they get the ball also to start the second half.
Right.
And if they score on that last possession, I would bet my house they're going to score coming out of the half and just completely, even if they just get 3 points, they're going to score again coming out of the half and really put the game out of reach. And they probably ran the second dumbest play call I've ever seen on the goal line with no timeouts. The dumbest play I've ever seen was Dak Prescott running the ball.
Of course.
Previous week. And then Mahomes backed it up, not getting the ball into the end zone and just running out the clock. I mean, it just...
Yeah, not coming away with any points. And I know, being a Giants fan, you're big on points before the half.
For years, though. This year, they finally started talking about it. But if you go back into my social media, when Manning was playing 4 or 5 years ago, it was an epidemic, right? It was always giving up points before the end of the half and then giving up points coming out of the second half. And I've seen it so much that you could see if they didn't get the ball in, the momentum shift that was going to happen. Because usually when it's the Giants, they give up points before the half. If the other team has the ball coming out, they give up points already. They give up points again. Once they stopped them, it was almost like you could feel the tide turn, and you could almost feel it coming. They should have put Cincinnati away, and they didn't.
And I think that's something that people kind of ignore sometimes is the momentum of professional football. Because all those teams belong to be there, right? We're talking NFL playoffs. We're talking championship games. Two of the best teams in their conference. They both deserve to be there. So that momentum shift just carried Cincinnati, and you saw it in the second half. Cincinnati just dominated the second half. Joe Burrow looked like Patrick Mahomes in that second half.
Yeah, well, it was interesting because once Kansas City didn't score and they didn't score again, you could feel it, and you can't let teams. First of all, Kansas City can get away with that in October against the Jaguars, right? They're not going to get away with that in a playoff, in a conference championship game. It's just not going to happen. And earlier on in that third quarter, I think it was early in the third quarter, Burrow came out and he threw an interception. And when the ball was in the air, you almost had the sense of, like, I felt like before I even saw the receiver and the defender, I'm like, that ball is probably going to get picked off because it just seemed like
one of those floaters that's up there forever.
Yeah, this ball is going to get picked off.
And it was really one of his few mistakes, right? He played really good football. He really impressed me with the way he played football because I don't watch a ton of NFL football. I definitely don't watch a ton of the Cincinnati Bengals NFL football.
No, who does? People in Cincinnati don't even watch the Bengals for the most part. But Right. And then I thought, all right, well, guess what? All right. So now Kansas City, Mahomes is going to get a shot. They're going to go downfield and they're going to get back on track. And they just didn't. They simply did not. Kansas City or Cincinnati started getting at Mahomes, and he wasn't able to escape a lot of those. He made some bad decisions. He had a couple really bad fumbles. He took a lot of bad sacks in that second half.
Yeah, that was the biggest surprising. Because he was just avoiding everything in the first half.
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes, and that's what he does, right? He makes plays with his feet, and everybody knows that. And he had all the time in the world. I think that it was the first touchdown that he threw, where he just rolled out and found Kelsey. Yeah. I think that was the first touchdown throw. Yeah. He had all day. I think I counted like 6 seconds, 6-7 seconds. Because he just makes those plays happen. And when you have receivers like Tyreek Hill and Travis Kelsey out there, they're going to get open eventually.
Yeah, I honestly didn't think Cincinnati had a chance. But again, you make mistakes, you let a good team hang around, and eventually it's going to come back and bite you. Burrow played good in the second half. Cincinnati started to get that pressure where they started to get to the quarterback, and Mahomes had trouble making things happen. That fumble, they're lucky to get that fumble back before they were able to tie the game.
Yeah, you forget about that.
That was an atrocious
that was a great strip
fumble
too, though. I thought it was a pretty good strip. It was a way to get her hands in there. And that's what quarterbacks now in the NFL, and we'll talk about that in the second half, and against the LA San Francisco game, because I think that was one of Garoppolo's biggest flaws, is that he tries to do too much sometimes. But that is kind of like the NFL quarterback style now, right? You're trying to make things happen, and then mistakes like that can happen. And that you're right. Like when he dropped that ball, he was just lucky that one of the Kansas City Chiefs linemen were there to pick it up.
Yeah, and he lost, I think, like 16, 17 yards. I mean, the kicker pulls out wide left by a yard or two. You're like, that's a terrible sack.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just interesting. I don't know going into next week I don't want to say if Joe Burrow's luck is going to run out, because I don't think it's luck. There's very small amount of luck in life, right? Or in football or in sports,
especially at the NFL level. Like you need to you make things happen. And he really impressed me. Like I said, I don't get to watch too much Joe Burrow football. Like you see the highlights, I think his deal with the devil though is running out. He looked really good. Well, and we'll get to the LA defense. They looked impressive, especially when they knew the 49ers were passing. They had a really good pass rush when in passing downs, basically. Talking about
they have. Well, we'll get to that, but they have. I mean, they have a great pass rush.
Yeah, talking about
Von Miller and
talking about the Giants. There, a former Giant, I think, made a big difference. Made a mistake early, but Eli Apple.
Right? Yeah. I'm used to that. I mean, he was swinging and missing everywhere. He was swinging and missing everywhere out there.
So he's a home run guy. It's either gonna be a great play or he's gonna get burnt. So
yeah, and it's funny too when you talk about quarterbacks in the NFL when they start to force things. And I don't want to go back to the Giants again, but bad teams with young quarterbacks, when they're losing, they force things to try to happen. And it never works out, right? It's like they're just trying to win a game. They're trying to force things. They haven't learned enough yet. Burrow didn't do that, right? He doesn't try to force too much.
No,
he's benefited from other quarterbacks making mistakes.
Yeah.
He benefited from Tannehill the week before making awful decisions with the ball. And then he benefited from Kansas City just making bad decisions.
But that's what the NFL is, right? You got to capitalize on mistakes, and every possession counts, right? So yeah, it was a couple of great games. I'm sure you saw our friend Jeff's post on Facebook early on where he was like, all the great games we had last week, and this game's garbage in the first quarter, and then look what happens.
I know. Well, I said the same thing after last weekend. I go, these games are going to be awful. There's no way you can back that up. And then, of course, I was wrong, so I just reposted it, saying, "Oh, look, I was wrong."
And you do want to kind of say that for next week too. But I mean, the way these playoffs are going, you can't count anybody out.
No, last weekend in the division games, it was just ridiculous. Right? It was 4 games of just craziness that you're like, there's no way you can back this up. And I mean, they backed it up. I mean, it was just the Kansas City game was really mind blowing to me. If I would have bet money on that game, I would have taken Kansas City in every way possible.
Oh yeah,
Points, everything. Yeah. I thought
They
it was
were-
going to be at least 2 touchdowns.
I think they were getting 7.
Yeah, I
in the
thought
spread.
I was like, all right. I thought it was going to be at least maybe 10.
Yeah, I mean the spread was getting 7. One note I have here: do you think Kansas City should have run the ball more, especially with the big lead? I know they got Patrick Mahomes and a lot of weapons on the pass siding of the ball, but they got decent running backs in the CEH there, and and J-Rock. J-Rock I thought was running the bell really well early on. Former 49ers running back from last year.
I'm always a fan of running the ball. See, there's 2 things. I always say the pass sets up the run, or the run sets up the pass, but the pass can set up the run. But I think in this situation, when you have that lead, anything can happen in the NFL. I think you should run the ball a little bit more, because Kansas City can run the ball.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
They can't run the ball.
They have a great They have a great offensive line.
Yeah, they can do pitches. They can do little naked screens, little swing passes to Tyreek. I mean, they have the weapons to do it. You get Kelsey out in open space with a couple blockers on a little tight end screen.
Yeah.
And that's like a run play, right? I mean, it's basically a run play. They did do that inside shovel pass that they like to run. I don't know if you saw that, but there was a 3rd down or a 4th and 1. And they like to bring Kelsey in motion and then just, fake a handoff and then shovel it to him up the middle.
Right. And then let him
what I mean? And then he gets
he'll
get a couple of yards. If you just swing it out to him and you let him get ahead of steam, they're gonna get yards. They would get yards, and it would be almost like it would basically be like a run play. They should have did more of those.
That's what I mean.
Too many rollouts with the home run ball, trying to throw on a run and everything.
I don't feel like they controlled the clock very well especially with the big lead going in the second half. And
it's like, why don't try to outsmart everybody? Like, I think sometimes the most effective play is the most obvious play, or just execute it. You have the talent.
No, it's funny.
You don't need to do a lot of that stuff.
It's funny you say that, because I do remember in the first half thinking Andy Reid is just out coaching this guy.
Yeah,
like Andy Reid's a great coach. We have to give him credit. But I thought, and he ran a great game plan in the first half, and maybe he thought, well, we'll just keep doing the same thing in the second half. This is the playoffs. Why change things up? And they were able to stop it, and then before you know it was too late.
Yeah. And I don't mind them not taking a field goal at the half. Like, I'm fine with them just trying to, shove it in the end zone and potentially put the nail in the coffin.
But make a better play. Get the ball into the end zone, or at least
make a play where the ball, where it gets into the end zone or it's incomplete.
And then you have time.
You might have a second, and then you can kick a field goal.
Right.
To throw that pass was like, it was like watching the Giants every week.
No, because I get going. I get going for the touchdown in that situation. It's what, 21-3, I think, at that point. We're going in the half. We score a touchdown. Then you have to think this game's over. I mean, honestly, even with a field goal, we make it 24-3. And you're like, oh, we're in really good shape.
And Kansas City's getting the ball coming out of the half with momentum.
Yeah. And
instead, it's flipped the other way. Since he goes in feeling good about themselves, hey, we kept that. We didn't give up any points. They come out, they're all fired up, juiced up, and they give up no points coming out. And it was I don't know what happened with the Kansas City sideline. I don't know if they just got flustered after that, but it just really became a totally different game. It was a tale of two halves in every way. The defensive front, just everything.
That's what really impressed me about Joe Burrow was, like, Joe Burrow looked like Patrick Mahomes in the second half. Yeah. He was playing like Patrick Mahomes, and for a second-year quarterback to come out in the AFC Championship game and do that. Joe Cool 2.0.
Joe Cool.
I'm all for it. As a Joe Montana fan, if he can take up the mantle, I don't mind that.
Joe Montana. We're digging deep now.
Oh yeah. Well, I'm sure you don't follow my
Skechers right now. You wearing your Montana Skechers?
I should bring out get my starter jacket. Oh yeah, I remember those. I'm sure you haven't been paying attention, but on my Twitch channel, I've been playing Super Tecmo Bowl. The old school Nintendo game. I've been bringing that back out, and I just finished the season with the 49ers.
Ronnie Lott. You're talking about Ronnie Lott. You're talking about.
Oh yeah, Ronnie Lott, Jerry Rice, John Taylor, Brent Jones. It was the Super Tecmo Bowl with the whole season, not the first Tecmo Bowl, but.
Yeah, no, that's where you had you had Ronnie Lott.
That team was ridiculous. Charles Haley was a linebacker. Bill Romanowski.
Yeah, it's like that's going back. That was also like playing with the Giants and having like Lawrence Taylor and Carl Banks on the bookends.
Yeah.
And it was like they were very, very hard to stop. Like Lawrence Taylor was.
Well, that game was the year that the Giants won the Super Bowl. That was the year they beat the Bills.
That's the year
It's those rosters, I think.
Yes, that's the year that Marshall knocked Montana out of the NFC Championship game when he hit him from behind.
Yes, I'll remember that.
Put his helmet right in the center of his back. Joe was done.
Joe was done for 2 years and pack it away to Kansas City.
Yeah, I was gonna say Joe woke up in Kansas City.
People forget about his Kansas City run. He went to an AFC Championship game and we almost took the Kansas City Chiefs to a Super Bowl.
Yeah, old Joe Montana.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen, I mean, Who the hell was even on that Kansas City Chiefs team? Like Christian Okoye, was that?
I don't think he was. I think he might have been gone by then. Ward might have still been the running back. I don't remember who the wide receivers were because now we're talking like 94, 95-ish.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Now you're going back. Right.
So before we get into the NFC Championship game, I did want to talk to you a little bit about your Giants and their new head coach. What do you think of the move?
Well, I don't know yet because.
What do you know about the guy? I don't even know because I don't know anything about the guy, to be honest with you.
I don't know anything. Here's what I know. I want to say it can't be any worse because I said that about.
But you never know.
I said that about when they fired Ben McAdoo and hired I forgot the guy's name, and then they fired him and they hired Judge, and I was all on board with Judge. I love Judge. I was like, this guy's gonna be great. He's gonna bring structure, order. They're gonna and then he was awful. It was the same mistakes, no accountability. I mean, I watched every post-game press conference, and he just carried on about we're going to hold guys accountable, yet they kept making all the same mistakes. Yeah, injuries. They had injuries, but, when you're running victory formations on 3rd and 14 on your own 9.
That was that was weird. I watched that play. I don't know. I remember saying, like, why? Why?
That sealed his fate. They basically ran a play where the quarterback is just taking a knee to get it in the exact spot for the field goal kicker to win a game winner. Except it was 3rd and 14 on your own 9 or whatever, 3rd and 9 on your own 4, and they ran it 3 times in a row. It was like
it just shows lack of trust, doesn't it? It's like we can't give up a safety here. We have to at least get the ball out of our end zone and
just run a draw play. Maybe he breaks it. If he doesn't, you're still punting anyway. It was a complete
and honestly,
white flag surrender.
Honestly, what do you have to lose at that point? You're out of the playoffs.
Nothing.
You're out of the playoffs. You win the game, you lose the game. Doesn't matter. You lose the game, you get a better draft pick. Honestly, so just give something for your fans to get excited about, right?
Yeah, I mean his use of timeouts and it was just.
But I thought you'd be happy.
I don't think it's as a Giants fan, it's never been this bad. So. This guy, I mean, all right, he's coming from Buffalo, right? You figure, he's been working with Allen and all these different guys, but it's like, Judge came from New England. Yeah. It's not like he was working with some scrubs.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know. I mean, I want to say, yeah, I'm all in. I love the guy. I have to wait to see what happens, right? Like people are asking me, what about the GM? And I'm like, look, the only way I know who my GM is, the only way I know his name is if he sucks. Everybody's talking about.
Well, of course, Dave Gettleman, the former GM, was a Kingston guy. So
yes, he coached
for the Kingston Tigers of our alma mater, our high school alma mater. I believe he might have been the AD at one point too. I think back in the.
I think he was. Yeah, I think he was the AD. But that was just a. If I know who my GM is, like if I can just rattle off my GM's name,
he's doing a bad job.
For me, I mean, a lot of people, it's almost like you shouldn't know. The only way you know a major league umpire's name all the time, like Angel Hernandez or Joe West, is because they're so bad. You should never know the umpire's name.
That's the only 2 umpires anyone knows because they're awful.
Yeah, you should never ever know their names.
Did Joe West retire? Did Joe West retire at least? Did Joe West retire yet? All right.
Yeah, he's up the most amount of games. Probably blown the most amount of calls. And he's
got the record. Thank
God.
So I did want to touch on that. You being a Giants fan, see where they're going.
Nowhere. They got to make a lot.
They got to build. But I saw the head coach was talking up your boy Daniel Jones. I know you're on the Daniel Jones defender.
Yeah, give him time. He can make every throw. He's got a big arm. He's mobile. You just can't get him killed.
Yeah.
And you have to be able to run the ball. And don't drop passes. The Giants, just real quick, I actually looked this up. I remember like a year or two ago. When Eli Manning was quarterbacking, the Giants were in the top 5 in drop passes almost every year except 2. Last season, they had the worst offensive line. and 2 of the top 7 wide receivers in drop passes were Giants. This year it was the same. Dropped balls, no protection, no run game, and we expect to bring in Russell Wilson, and he's going to play on this team, and somehow, what's he going to win, one more game?
Right.
And you're going to have to give up draft picks you're going to have to give up assets to give him.
Yeah.
So what are you going to do?
No, there's definitely more places that the Giants can patch up before they start messing with the quarterback position. I can't argue with that point.
Yeah, and then we'll see what happens. If he sucks, then I'll have to eat a lot of crow.
Well, I mean, look, like you said, they lost a lot of weapons on offense, right? They don't have the receivers that they used to have. Barkley seems to get hurt every year. As good as he is, he can't stay healthy for a full season. And then what do you do? Then you're playing. What was their final record this year? Like what? 6-10, something like that.
There were 4. I don't know. I can't.
4 and 12.
There were 4
somewhere around there.
4 and whatever. There's 17
when you're
games,
playing
whatever that is.
when you're playing below par
13.
football, like it can't be fun in the NFL to suit up every week to go out there and be like, all right, here we go again. But
yeah, and before we move on from that, don't discount. And this is what I was trying. I got into a lot of discussions, obviously, about Daniel Jones, but this was one. Daniel Jones came in relief of Eli Manning, right? And he played the rest of that season.
Right.
The following season was going to be his second year as a quarterback, his first preseason camp as a starter. There's no camp because of COVID.
Right.
So he's a second-year quarterback. It's his first year starting. He's on his second head coach, his second offensive coordinator, and he has no camp. So he goes into the season and everybody talks about how bad he sucks. If you remember that year, last year, Tom Brady didn't put it all together till after the bye week. Then they went undefeated.
Right.
Now, I'm not saying he's Tom Brady. What I'm saying is,
right.
though, is that not having a camp on a new team.
It's not as easy as
everyone problem.
Thinks it is. It's not Madden. You're not playing Madden, and you're not right. You're not making trades in Madden, and they come on the team, and all of a sudden, like they just play amazing. Yeah. There's a lot more chemistry involved in there than people realize. I think because it's football. It's a complicated sport. It's it's a lot about timing. It's a lot about getting used to the guys. About timing. Yeah, that's all there is to it. And we'll see how they do. You're right. They're going to be middle of the road for a few years, but hopefully they'll can put it back together and put together a competitive team on the field.
Like when you run bad routes, like they're the worst route running team in football. And when you get outscored like 75-0 in the last 2 minutes of the half, you're not going to win games. But
they'll always be better than the Jets somehow.
I'm fine with that.
At least you got bragging rights.
I got that to fall back on.
You got those bragging rights.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to the NFC Championship game. Obviously, I have a little bit of bias here as a 49ers fan. But I thought it was a well-played game. I thought the Rams were the better team. I thought they played a cleaner game. Full disclosure, I did not get to watch the Packers game because I was working a wrestling show. I had to referee in Poughkeepsie that night, so literally after the show, I was like, "Oh my God, the 49ers! I forgot." Check the score real quick. It was at the 2-minute mark when they had the ball, so I couldn't even watch it on my phone. I had to watch like just the numbers tick by and like where they were on the field. I'm like, "Oh, they're in field goal range. Oh, clock's running out. They got to kick the field goal. Field goal's good. Awesome." But yeah, I didn't get to watch the game. I did watch the game against the Cowboys. I don't know if you caught that one. But that was it was a sloppy game all around. I mean, obviously the ending was very strange with Dak Prescott running his quarterback draw with 14 seconds left on the clock or whatever.
I don't know what he's thinking. If first of all, he doesn't
slide earlier and he
doesn't need to run. He doesn't need to run that far. Once he gives himself up, the play is over. The clock still runs, but the play is over. Yeah, give yourself time to set up and spike the ball.
And then you got to have the wherewithal to understand, like, you have to let the referee spot the ball. Like they blocked off the referee. Like the referee. We're just gonna, people gave him a lot of crap, the referee, but if you really watch the tape, he's right behind him. Yeah, he was trailing a little bit. He's not going to be able to keep pace with Dak Prescott. But as soon as Dak Prescott gave the ball to the center, like he was right there trying to get through, pushing people out of the way to set the ball. It was just too late.
It just became a lack of awareness.
Yeah.
And it was just stupid.
But all over, it was a very sloppy game. There was a ton of penalties in that game on both sides of the ball. And I think the same thing can be said about the 49ers against the Rams yesterday. They didn't play the cleanest game. to win to win a championship, you need to play a clean game, and they just couldn't do it. There was that one. It was a really bad delay of game penalty that they took. And I understand the stadium's loud, but that was a weird thing because the whole time they were talking about how I don't know the name of the Coliseum in Los Angeles that they're playing.
SoFi Stadium.
Oh yeah, that's where the Super Bowl is going to be next week as well. But how it was packed with 49er fans. But some of those times you couldn't tell. those Rams fans were pretty loud.
The craziest thing about that is I got the sense early on that it was like a national, it was a NCAA, it was like a national title game crowd.
Right, where
like you have like Alabama fans and Georgia fans, or Clemson fans and Alabama. It's always gonna be Alabama, so it's Alabama fans and whoever, right? But it was almost like it was split.
Everyone's just being as loud as they can whenever they need to be.
And everybody and each team had trouble. You could see both teams. I mean, you saw Stafford a bunch of times, like putting his covering up to try to hear the play.
And I don't know, maybe Stafford playing in a dome for all those years and playing against like teams like Minnesota and stuff like that. Maybe he's a little more used to it.
I don't know.
Who knows?
All I know is I don't.
He played a great game.
49. Yeah, no, he played really well. He plays well. You know what? So in his playoff run here, he's played well when he needed to.
Yeah,
he's made the plays he needed to. Right against Tampa Bay, he made the plays he needed to. Against the Niners, he made the plays he needed to. On the flip side of that, Garoppolo, for the most part, he didn't make the plays. Early on, he missed a wide open Kittle.
Yes.
Down the middle for like 30 yards or something crazy. And it was like
I have him here he's a bit of a gunslinger. He likes to force a lot of things. I feel like he forces too many passes sometimes, and then other times like he just puts too much on the ball or something, and just he misses bad sometimes.
Yeah, and I can see where Niner fans, I can see where you guys get frustrated with him, right? Because when you watch him, you hear people, oh, he's so overrated, he's this, that, he's whatever. When you watch him, you're like, oh my God, he's overrated. And then he'll make a pass or two.
Oh, yeah.
And you're like, geez, what? That's the Garoppolo we want. Like, where's that guy all the time?
Yeah, no, he's extremely talented. People don't give him enough credit. I think he's a very good quarterback. I just don't think he's good for the 49er system.
Yeah, I think if you had a better quarterback, you're probably in a Super Bowl.
That's true too, but there's not that many better quarterbacks out there, to be honest with you.
No, I mean, there's only like a handful of people in the world that can play quarterback at a high level in the NFL.
Yeah, and I mean, even in the NFL, like you look at the quarterbacks right now in the NFL, like, where would you take a team that wouldn't be in the playoffs? Like what quarterback that didn't make the playoffs would be on the 49ers and make a big difference? I don't really see any.
I mean, but what are you going to do? I mean, he's a free agent now, right? Isn't he a free agent?
I believe so. Honestly,
I let him go because I think he's supposed to get some sort of signing bonus or something. He's supposed to get some sort of money coming up, from what I know. I haven't looked it up.
That's actually something I wanted to touch on real quick before we get further into this game. Actually, we could talk about quarterback roulette because I'm kind of curious to see where Jimmy's going to end up. Aaron Rodgers, I think, is done with the Packers. I think he wants out. He wanted out this year. And then you have the
wild card is who's going to take a shot at Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, you got Deshaun Watson. I don't know. I think do you see Aaron Rodgers with the Buccaneers? Because who's going to take Aaron Rodgers right now? Aaron Rodgers maybe has a couple years left.
Aaron Rodgers has to be in a win now situation.
Right. So
like the 49ers, the team that's built to win now, right? The 49ers or the Buccaneers. Yeah, they both have weapons.
Yeah, the 49ers are going to hand the keys to Trey Lance next year. I think that's a given.
What's frustrating is San Francisco has weapons. Like they have a defense, right? They have weapons. It's like they don't have offensive weapons.
Their secondary is lacking a little bit. But they have a great pass rush. They have amazing offensive weapons. Like they're wide. I mean, Deebo Samuels is a beast, right?
He's going to be. I mean, hopefully that guy can stay healthy, just so I can see a whole career.
Yeah, because the way he runs, the way he's a running back. He can be a wide receiver. He can probably play tight end. Like he's got good size to him as well. I don't know how well he blocks, to be honest with you, but Just yeah, and that's what I wanted to get into too. I felt like he disappeared in the second half, and I felt like they kind of gave up on the run, the 49ers, and I think I think that's what really hurt them the most.
I think it did hurt him because if I look at the stats, right, the 49ers ran 50 total plays to 76. The Rams ran 76 plays. The Rams had the ball a little over 35 minutes. San Francisco had it for 24 minutes. Yeah, so that's at about 11-minute difference. They had much more. They had 50 rushing yards compared to 70. They ran a total of 50 plays, and they were out. Los Angeles had, over 100 more yards. It was just, I don't know. I think when you look at kind of their time of possession and the control of the game, they really kind of lack that. And by the way, missing wide open receivers will do that because it stops the clock. And you give the ball back, right? So having 50 rush yards and 50 total plays is
especially for the 49ers, they're one of the heaviest run offenses in the league.
Yeah, and your time of possession was a little lopsided, and your penalties. The Rams were 2 penalties for 10 yards. The 49ers were 6 for 54 yards.
And that's what I'm talking about, playing a clean game, right? You're not going to win a championship game not playing a cleaner game.
No, when you more than triple the other team in penalty yards.
But I think between Mitchell and Samuels, I think they both combined for maybe like 2.5 yards a carry. I think less than that actually. I think it was like more like 2.25 yards a carry. Yeah. But you can't give up in the run, especially when in a tight game like that.
No, because the Rams they played into what the Rams wanted, right? I think San Francisco was like, look, they have a good front four. They're going to be able to stop the run. They have 3 great defensive players on that line. And it was almost like they kind of I think the Rams baited him into it a little bit because I think the Rams were totally fine going, we'll take our chances with Garoppolo beating us with his arm.
Yeah.
We want to see him make good decisions and beat us with the arm before we, right? Like I think LA was like, we're going to bait him into throwing the ball more.
Yeah, well, like you said, like he's always been like a little quick short pass guy. Right?
But they went away from that too.
Yeah.
At one point, like there was a possession where it was just quick slant, and they were just eating them up. And then they kind of went away from it a little bit, and then Garoppolo started sitting in a pocket too long. He's get back, get rid of the ball quick.
Yeah.
He cannot sit there and have time because I don't think he can.
He reminded me of like an old Brett Favre. Remember when Brett Favre was like in the end of his career and just was like, I'm throwing the ball. I'm going to sit here. I'm throwing the ball as hard as I can, and my wide receiver better catch it. And I really a few of those plays were just like, I'm throwing the ball. Even the last play of the game, which I know you're just trying to make something happen. But what was going to happen in that instance?
So okay, let's say he completes that. Where's it going?
It's still a 5-yard loss.
Yeah, right? just eat it. Eat it and live for one more play.
Yeah, either eat the sack or just try to at least get the ball out of bounds. Or don't even take the pressure. As soon as you see the pressure, just throw it out and be like, all right, it's 4th down. We gotta hit this, and we don't hit it. Yeah. At least you give yourself a chance. Not that obviously that doesn't make the game. They were in a pretty rough spot, and it was kind of the opposite of what happened. Against the Cowboys and against the Packers, where they had the ball, they had a chance to win, and except this time they couldn't do it.
Yeah.
So credit to the Rams there.
No, the Rams played. I don't want to say the Rams played great. Their offense played well. What was interesting to me though is I did notice the awful use of timeouts by the Rams in the second half.
Yes, which is I thought that was going to come back to bite them, and they got lucky.
And that's why I thought, yes, I'm like, you know what, San Francisco is going to win this game because if somehow they could pull ahead, or depending on the situation, the Rams will have no timeouts. They challenged the call, which he was never going to win on the quarterback sneak on 4th down.
Yeah, I don't know if that's
he was never going to win.
Is that desperation? You think just like we need this, like it's worth the shot, like.
But that desperation challenge, and it was like in the 3rd quarter.
Yeah.
Like a desperation challenge like that in the 3rd quarter. I mean, I don't know if your team. I don't know if it sends a message to your team. I don't know if they. But there's something there where I'd be like, listen, coach, all right, we'll stop him.
Yeah.
Don't waste that time out. Trust us. I don't understand why he did it. I think it sends a bad message to your team. You're not gonna win.
Well, I think the commentators at one point said that McVay only challenged like once during the regular season.
Yeah, and he had 2 that were awful.
They were terrible. They were both terrible challenges.
Right, and then he challenges, and then they have to take a timeout with 19 seconds left in the third quarter because they couldn't get out of the huddle fast enough.
Yeah.
At that point, just run a play. Don't just run a play. Take it into the right. Take it into the break. Go into the fourth quarter. Keep that timeout. And this is something. Again, I'll go back to the Giants because any mistake that everybody makes in the NFL, the Giants
will make.
Right. I've seen the Giants get a delay of game, or get a delay of game, or come out of a timeout and then get a delay of game. They will use a timeout and then get a delay of game, which I never understood how you can call a timeout, talk to the quarterback, get the play, go back out, and then get a delay of game.
Yeah.
It's and I saw the Giants take a timeout with 6 minutes left in the quarter, or 6 seconds left in a quarter. It's like, what are you doing? Just what the hell are you doing? Keep that timeout in your pocket, right? Like don't end the game with timeouts in your pocket, but don't use crazy timeouts in the third quarter. They used 2 terrible timeouts in the third quarter, and then that last challenge was like,
yeah, they got lucky there because they didn't need it. But hopefully, you got to learn from your mistakes, and hopefully in the Super Bowl, it's something that they learn from. We'll find out.
I don't know. It was a good game. I didn't honestly. I mean,
McVay's a young coach too, right? He's 36 years old.
Yeah, and he's been to 1 Super Bowl already. They lost, but he's been there. I mean, he's a great coach. I didn't really care who won either of these games. I just wanted to see good games. I got to be honest. Maybe I wanted to see the Chiefs lose. Not because I like Burrow and the Bengals.
But the Chiefs 3 years in a row, yeah.
The Chiefs 3 years in a row, and then then you got 2 weeks of news from his fiance. And his
I see she gets a lot of heat. I haven't paid attention much to her, but I do see I see more people complaining about her than I actually see her. But that's that's my social media bubble, I guess. So Super Bowl. Predictions. What's going to be the deciding factor?
You want my prediction? You want my prediction first, or you want to go?
No,
first?
I want to talk. No. I want to talk about what are the keys here? What are the keys between the Bengals and the Rams? What are the keys?
Well,
what do you think?
The Rams are going to have home field advantage more than the Buccaneers did last year because the stadium won't be limited because of COVID. Right. I think the Rams are going to win this game by, I'm going to say 27-16.
Okay.
Right? That's three field goals and a touchdown?
Yeah.
For Cincy?
I got 27-24 Rams. I think it's going to be
24. You think they're going to get 24?
Yeah. I think it's going to be close.
I think Burrow's going to have a lot of problems with that pass rush. I think Cincinnati's going to have. I think they're going to have their hands full.
I also think Cincinnati's run game doesn't get a lot of credit, and they have 2 really good running backs in Joe Mixon, and I'm blanking on the other guy's name right now, but
yeah, I know you're talking about. Yeah, I can't remember his name either, but
I think that can take the pressure off Burrow, and I think they run a lot of screens. They kind of negate that pressure a little bit. And I think the offense gets clicking. Jamar Chase is a beast, isn't he?
Yeah.
Not to take any away from the Rams wide receivers, because you got Cooper Kupp, who had the greatest wide receiver year of anybody in the history of football.
And that hurt you, didn't it? Didn't that hurt? That hurt
you. As a Jerry Rice guy, it didn't hurt as much as the Randy Moss year when Randy Moss broke Jerry Rice's touchdown record. That one really hurt, especially.
Yeah, the Giants beat him in the Super Bowl. Was that the year they went? That's the year it was New England.
Yeah, that was the year. I think that was the year New England went undefeated. I think.
Yeah, the Giants beat him in the Super Bowl. Yep.
But yeah, that one hurt a little bit more. And then you got OBJ on the other side, who's coming together with the Rams a little bit.
Well, he benefits from having Kupp.
Right. He doesn't he doesn't be the number one guy, right? He can just be the guy who gets open and makes plays. He did that.
You can't double everybody.
No. And even that, they lost their tight end. I'm blank. Tyler Higbee, who's a pretty decent receiving tight end, And
Cincinnati lost. They lost a receiver too. He blew his knee out on the one play. One of their forgot his name, but yeah. So I mean, you're both going to be missing guys.
Yeah.
Each team's going to be missing a wide receiver.
But I was going to say
their
backup tight end stepped up, had a big catch for a touchdown.
Yeah. Yeah.
And had I think on the play before that he had a big catch.
Yeah. So good. Listen.
The Rams' offense is going to be very good. They're going to be hard to stop. But I think the Bengals can do enough to keep themselves in the game. So yeah, I checked the over under is 50, and currently the Rams are getting 4 points.
But can the Bengals keep staying around? Like, is it one of those? Like, I just feel it's going to be one of those weeks where it's just they're not going to be able to do it.
Maybe, but you get 2 weeks to game plan, right?
Yeah, if the Rams make the same mistakes the other two teams that they played them, right, the Titans and the Chiefs, then I guess anybody would hang around. I mean, McVay, and I wrote a note. I said an awful timeout with 19 seconds left. Now you have one timeout down by 10 points, and then he used another one. Right, so he cannot do that with his time. He absolutely cannot do that. Stuff like that happens.
You never know.
Yeah, they absolutely cannot do that with the timeouts. And Cincinnati, if their defense, because I did write down. They said on the post game that Kansas City in the second half had 83 yards and 3 points.
Yep. Surprisingly good defense.
Right,
Cincinnati.
So.
Little underrated, I think. If they can stop the Rams run game. I'm sorry. If the Rams have to stop the Cincinnati run game. That's what I wrote down here. If that happens, it's going to be tough because then it's on Joe Burrow's shoulders. And you're right. Yeah. I don't know if he can carry the team to a Super Bowl win against a very good Los Angeles pass defense.
I could be wrong. Who knows? I also thought they were going to get smoked.
But that's the
by
key.
Kansas City.
That's the key. That's the key, though. If Los Angeles can stop the run game, I don't think it's much of a game. If they have trouble stopping that run, then that opens up Joe Burrow to do a lot of things. And Jamar Chase is always on that field, and you never know what's going to happen to that guy in the field. He is a talent.
What did you say it was? What was your score?
27-24 Rams.
27-24 Rams. And what did I say? 27-16?
17, I think you said.
I'm going with 16.
Okay.
Wait, is that even?
I mean,
come on, BJ, my math at 10:20 at night.
It'd be weird. 16.
Yeah, 16. It's the touchdown and 3 field goals.
Touchdown and 3 field goals.
I think they're going to get held. I think they're going to get held to a lot of field goals early, and they'll score a touchdown in the second half.
It's going to be one of those things where they got 9 points in the first half.
It's going to be one of those. Yeah, it's going to be one of those.
And they're going to try and crawl back. Because that's the thing. I think if Cincinnati does get down big, I don't think they have the comeback ability to them against the Rams.
Yeah.
They did against the Chiefs though. But I don't think the Chiefs defense is as good as the Rams defense either.
If anything, I might give the Rams 3 more points and go 30-16 only because they get to sleep in their own beds. I think that's worth 3 points. I think that's worth 3 points, VJ. I think being able to sleep in your own bed in your own house with your own pillow is probably worth 3 points.
That's fair. That's a fair
point.
Yeah,
maybe 5.
They should make them stay in a hotel. They should be like, you got to stay. You got to.
Yeah, maybe they do.
They should make them fly. They should make them fly to Cincinnati the 2 days before the game and then fly.
Yeah,
back.
they have to go. Yeah, they have to go somewhere else. They have to go somewhere else and work out, like Arizona or something.
just to keep things a little bit even. But
yeah, I don't know. I've been married 20 years, so when I stay in a hotel for work, it's the best sleep I get. I'm the opposite, right?
Fair enough. So you got the under then, and I have the over.
Yeah, I'm going 27-16. I think both defenses. I think it's going to be.
And you got the spread. I got Cincinnati with the spread.
So you have Cincy covering.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a close game.
Man, I don't know about that.
Thanks for the follow, KF Squire.
That's Kenny.
Oh, hey Kenny, thanks for the follow. Welcome to Twitch.
Yeah, he was like, "Where can I see this thing?" I'm like, "I don't know." I'm like, "I think it's on Twitch, but I don't have that." So.
Yeah. Yeah. This has been neat. I appreciate you coming on. Kenny, good to see you. Your co-host. I remember talking to him when we had our COVID interview.
Yeah, I think
I'll have to come on again.
Yeah, we got the setup where we can have 3-4 people, 2 people in the studio, 4 people, and then we can do a Teams meeting, and you're in the box, and then we can even take phone calls.
Sweet.
So we can have a guest take live calls. We can debate. I would love to get. And the invitation has always been out there for people, the ones that argue with me on Facebook, like and I'm always like, and I'm always like, call in, debate it live so we can have a discussion. So there's nothing lost in the interpretation of the text.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, like let's talk 100%. It out. And nobody ever calls. They get. A couple people have called, and when I spoke to them afterwards, they were just like, "I was so nervous." It's kind of nerve-wracking.
To be fair, you do have to get used to this, especially internet like these boxes, right? And but you have we were actually talking about that. Kenny asked, "Where's Jimmy G going?" He says the Steelers.
Steelers. Yeah, what are the Steelers gonna do? What about Green Bay? Maybe he goes to Green Bay.
I was thinking Green Bay. I was also thinking Tampa Bay.
The Steelers are interesting because do the Steelers take a chance on Deshaun Watson? Because obviously they didn't care about anybody's past because they had Ben Roethlisberger. So they're not. I don't think they really. Deshaun Watson. Maybe they take a chance on him. I don't know. The Steelers are an interesting choice. Who's going to go to Pittsburgh? Jimmy G going to go to Pittsburgh?
I don't see Jimmy G. I don't see Jimmy G in Pittsburgh. Maybe Denver. Maybe
Denver. I forgot they were still around. It's interesting. I got to tell you, it's going to be a good offseason.
Big Ben was a Saint. Was he a New Orleans Saint, or was he a Saint off the football field? Because I don't think that's the case.
No, he's not.
I know you can't. Nick can't read the chats, right? That's that Kenny's going on here.
No. I could see Garoppolo. There's no way Garoppolo's going to Green Bay. He's not going to be able to play in the cold. Not that kind of cold.
Maybe not. Maybe I don't know. All right, yeah. Quarterback rotisserie here. We got 2 big retirements, obviously, with Tom Brady, and
is he retiring?
Is he gonna go back to New England?
No. Has he said he's retiring? Because now you hear his dad saying that's not true.
Really?
And yeah, his dad said that's not true. He's not retiring.
I didn't hear that.
What's the story?
Maybe.
Yeah, what's the story?
That'd be great.
Listen, and then I saw that the TB12 Twitter page put up, "Hey, this many Super Bowls, thanks for the memories," and then they took it down.
So maybe it was a fake out, or maybe it was maybe you joked about it. And he was like, "I'm done," and then it blew up, and they're like, "Oh wait, no, I didn't really mean that."
I don't know. So then I heard Tom Brady's agent said to Adam Schefter and those guys that he was retiring, and there's all this controversy swirling around. Is he retiring or is he not retiring?
Let's say he retires. So
right.
He's gone.
He's out.
So the Steelers need a quarterback. The Buccaneers need a quarterback. Green Bay is going to need a quarterback because I think Aaron Rodgers is gone. Jimmy G's available. Deshaun Watson's available.
Interesting thing about Rodgers.
Does Cam Newton land somewhere for a final year?
Yeah, God no. I'm done with him.
The Cam Newton experiment.
Yeah, no. Listen, Aaron Rodgers is going to get the pick. Right, he's going to pick wherever he wants to go.
Yeah, and I think that's why he goes to Tampa Bay, because I think they have the best chance of winning a Super Bowl with him.
Yeah, next year, right? They can win a Super Bowl next year. It's going to be, he can play in warm weather. I could see him in Tampa.
He can be in Florida where he doesn't have to worry about vaccines and COVID restrictions.
Yeah, he could just say he's immunized or whatever the hell his word was.
He can just do whatever he wants with that.
Yeah, maybe he can buy a vaccine card from Antonio Brown. I mean, who knows?
I like that when Antonio Brown just walked off. Aaron goes to Miami. Kenny says.
New. I don't know.
It's too much of a chance. I don't think because I don't think he would go to Miami. I don't think he puts him over the top.
No. Nope.
I think he wants a ring. He wants another ring, and he doesn't have many years left.
He's not gonna go rebuild or finish, or like he's gonna go where he's gonna go where it's insert Aaron Rodgers, win championship.
And I think Tampa Bay is the perfect spots for him.
Russell Wilson's another guy.
Now, if he could talk Gronk into another year.
Yeah, I don't know if Gronk. Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't you play again, Gronk? Like what? Like
he's got to be beat up a little bit though. He's had a rough career. Like
Gronk's the guy. Yeah, Gronk's a guy though that can be like, I'll come to camp when I'm ready.
That's true.
I'll
start playing week 6.
Yeah, he's gonna be the Roger Clemens of the NFL. Remember Roger Clemens just would come back in July every year. He would just retire and then come back in July and pitch the home stretch. Yeah, that's gonna be Gronk.
Yeah, he's like, I'll start week 6. I'll play 10 games, and see how it works out.
Yeah, give me a couple mil. I'll do some more USAA commercials, and we're good to go.
So
I think. Well, listen, you also have Russell Wilson, right? There's always been the last year or two the rumors of he wants out of Seattle.
Yeah.
Now that's a trade, right? Now you got to trade. You got to give up assets for him.
Yeah, who wants Russell Wilson that bad right now?
I don't know. He's another guy where he's got to,
How many years has he been playing too, though? Right?
He's got to be around for 9-10 years already.
Yeah.
He's going to be on the downslope. I mean, he had a bad year, but he's coming off a broken thumb or whatever.
Can he play in Denver? I think Denver's tempting. I think Denver's a pretty solid
Seattle's
team
not
that definitely needs
Seattle's not. Yeah, Seattle's not an ideal place to play. I mean, with the crowd noise, it's ideal for the home team. But Seattle weather-wise, I mean,
no, like as far
it's an open air stadium. Just like Denver, right? So it's not like he played in a dome up there in the great Northwest.
Wilson in Miami would be an interesting move, I think, actually.
Yeah, I think that would be good. Wilson in Miami, but you're going to get rid of Tua. Where's Tua going? Tua's going to be a backup.
Tua can go to Seattle. Give up a pick and Tua for Wilson. Give up like a second rounder and Tua for Wilson. I would make that move.
And then okay, so here's a question. Does that move make you better than New England? Do they win the division? Does it make you better than Buffalo?
Buffalo's good right now. It's going to be hard to beat Buffalo.
That's a tough division. He goes there. I mean, it's
going to be tough to beat Buffalo.
I'm really interested to see if anybody takes a chance on Deshaun Watson. It's Deshaun Watson and Aaron Rodgers. That's what I want to see.
I mean, probably. I mean, he's got some legal troubles, isn't that what his deal is?
Well, I heard a lot of that stuff might get dropped.
Gotcha.
I don't know. He wanted to get some massages. Apparently, he liked the massages.
Oh, well, there's nothing wrong with that. I have no problem with that.
Except he wanted a little bit more.
Well, as long as he's not, beating up the masseuse or anything. As long as he's not hitting anybody like some other people in the NFL.
I don't know. I feel like
have been known to do, but
yeah. I don't know. I mean, somebody's going to take a chance on him, right? I mean,
if he likes massages, you can go to New England. Him and Kraft can hang out.
Yeah, well, didn't Kraft? I thought Kraft got in trouble. I thought that wasn't like Florida. Wasn't it like Florida?
It wasn't. I'm pretty sure it wasn't Florida. Yeah.
Poor old guy. Look, the guy's wife passed away.
Listen,
he's like 80. He's a billionaire. Look what he's got to have. Like he's like,
You know me. I have no problem with that as long as it's consensual and as long as the person,
as long as there's the issue
is not being abused and coerced and not being sex trafficked, and as long as it's up and up and
that's the problem. That's where the rubber meets the road. Well, the sex trafficking.
Well, with the parlors, as you will, it's kind of been known to be a little bit sketchy. So. All right. Well, it is 10:30, and I don't want to keep you up too long. It's been fun though. We got to do this again sometime.
Yeah, I'll do it any time.
Maybe after the Super Bowl, we'll hook it up Monday. Monday after the Super Bowl, maybe we'll do this again.
Yeah, I'll definitely do it again. Then you got listen.
This
Then
will
you got
be up. This
baseball
will be
season
up on
coming
you.
up.
Listen, I don't watch.
If
I
there's
don't
a,
watch too much baseball, but
I'll tell you what. If they lose any games,
actually, baseball is coming. I'm not sure baseball is coming up.
if
You're
they
right.
lose
We were talking
any
about this today. I
games,
keep forgetting about that lockout.
the sport won't recover.
They said that 30 years ago, Nick. They said
Yeah, but 30 years ago there wasn't all the technology and gaming and all the other stuff that's taken up of people's times.
That's fair, but
they'll
just let the guys do
baseball's in
steroids.
trouble.
They'll just let guys do steroids again, and everyone will be hitting 60 home runs a year, and everyone will love baseball again.
Yeah. Yep.
Bring back the juice.
Yeah, bring it back. Bring back McGuire and Sosa. Juice them up.
All right, we've been doing this for 55 minutes. Let's take 5 minutes real quick, talk baseball, because I do want to get your opinion on the Hall of Fame.
You got to get me. All right, you want me to go into this right now?
Yeah. Quick 5 minutes on the Hall of Fame. What do you think?
All right. There's no way in hell David Ortiz is a first ballot Hall of Fame. All right, let's just be completely honest. He's not for a couple reasons. A, when it took Mike Piazza to his fourth ballot, to get in, and you're going to tell me David Ortiz is a first ballot Hall of Famer? He's a first ballot Hall of Famer because the sports writers are a bunch of crybabies who get their feelings hurt, and they didn't like any of the other guys. They didn't like A-Rod. They didn't like Bonds. They didn't like Clemens. They didn't like any of those guys. And now that Bonds and Clemens, it's their last year of eligibility, they really screwed it to them going, you know what? Well, we're going to vote in David Ortiz first ballot. And we won't have to deal with you next year because you're off the ballot. Because they have no balls, right? That's my feeling. I feel like they were like, we're going to do – it's a perfect storm. We could put Ortiz in. It sends a message that you guys will never get in. We don't like you because the Veterans Committee is not going to put him in because those guys, those old school Hall of Famers, are not going to vote for steroid guys.
No.
Right? The sports writer said, we're going to put Ortiz in first ballot. Screw you. He's the world's most beloved. I've said this for years. He's the world's most beloved steroid user. He was on the list with Bonds and A-Rod and all those guys. But now you got to put Palmeiro in. All these guys are going to have to go in. A-Rod's going to have to go in. You're just going to have to start throwing guys in the Hall of Fame.
I think, it turned into a popularity contest, didn't it? It was like, oh, we like this guy.
You're that just emotionally fragile as a baseball writer that you're not going to vote guys in.
I think it's more of a situation where it's, I have this power and this is my power. This is the only power I have over these ridiculously wealthy baseball players who, should be in the Hall of Fame. Let's be honest, based on their numbers and their careers.
Makes no sense.
It's kind of like that. I have power over these guys, and you know what? These guys weren't very nice. Like Roger Clemens is a jerk. Let's be honest.
Yeah, he's an ass.
He's a jerk.
But so is Ty Cobb, right? The guy went into the stands and beat up a guy.
I mean, Babe Ruth was kind of probably a jerk too.
There's a lot of, listen, it's not the Hall of Nice Guys. The Hall of Fame. It's
that's what I mean though. It's that power that the sports writers have, and it's like, you know what, we're gonna take what we can get here, and we're gonna stick it to these guys and say, you know what, you want to be in the Hall of Fame? Nah, we're good. But on the other hand too, honestly, I don't really care that much because the Hall of Fames really don't mean that much. You get to go up and you get to say your speech and you get your plaque in there, but those guys know where they stand in the history of baseball.
Yeah, right. I mean,
Roger Clemens. I could see in the next 5 years, Roger Clemens starting his own baseball Hall of Fame down in Texas or something, and just being like, this is the new baseball Hall of Fame, and I'm going to do whatever I want. It's Bonds, it's him, it's A-Rod, it's Palmeiro, just Mark McGwire. Because Mark McGwire's not in either, right?
No, he's not. Sosa's not in. Let me tell you what.
Sosa.
Yeah, if you put Sosa's not a Hall of Famer, but he's got the home runs. If you put Bill Mazeroski in the Hall of Fame for one home run, and arguably he was like one of the better defensive second basemen. Yeah. But if you put Mazeroski in for one home run, beating the Yankees in a game 7 and a walk-off, then you got to put Sosa in for that whole season.
It was a big home run.
It was 1960, I don't even know, 69, 61, 60 something.
Well, 69 was the Mets year, so.
By the way, Yogi Berra was playing left field in that game. But Mazeroski hit the ball over the wall. That's Yogi Berra running back to the fence.
And Yogi Berra was he the coach at the time as well?
No, but he was probably like 84 years old when it happened.
We need to bring back player managers. I don't want no more managers in Major League Baseball. That'll shake the game up. You have to be a player if you're going to be a manager.
Yeah, just like walking out going, you're out. I'm going to hit, right?
You got to wear the uniform anyway.
Yeah.
So you have to at least be in the starting lineup to be a manager, or at least you have to DH. We'll bring the DH rule to the National League, except you also have to manage the team.
Yeah. I mean, Harold Baines is in the Hall of Fame. Right? Harold Baines, is he really a Hall of Famer? Like, if we're actually talking about like Hall of Fame, like Harold Baines?
I'd have to look at his stats. I remember his baseball card being really like popular. Like
Ozzie Smith is in, but Omar Vizquel isn't?
I think Ozzie's got in because, like you said, like the sports writers like you're good in.
They loved him. He did the backflip.
Yeah,
I'm not saying he's not a Hall of Famer. Ozzie Smith's a Hall of Famer,
right?
But Omar Vizquel. Did I say Ozzie Gain or Omar Vizquel? I'm talking about Omar Vizquel. Omar Vizquel's a Hall of Famer. If you put in Ozzie Smith, Omar Vizquel's got to go in. The same career.
I think that's fair.
And if you're gonna put a steroid guy in, I would have been fine with Bonds going in, because at least he was a Hall of Famer with the Pirates before the steroids.
Yeah.
But Bonds was a great player before the steroids.
Yeah. And then he just was like, my head's going to grow 5 sizes bigger, than I'm going to hit 30 more home runs a year.
Now, whether Pete Rose deserves to go into the Hall of Fame, that's a different, because now you always see that, right? Oh, these guys are getting in now. Now you mean to tell me Pete Rose does not go into the Hall? How is Pete Rose not in the Hall of Fame? You got cheaters, you got steroid users, you got this, that, and the other thing.
What you're forgetting is Pete Rose is a Hall of Famer. He is in the WWE Hall of Fame.
Oh, okay. Well, then he have the chicken hat. They have the chicken. Well, didn't he go in there as the chicken?
He did that one year. Yeah, he got beat up by Kane.
Yeah,
like in three or four WrestleManias in a row. So they're like, you get the they have a celebrity wing of the Hall of Fame in the WWE.
Like is Lawrence Taylor in it? Was he in the
Actually,
celebrity
I don't think
wing of the
Lawrence
WWE?
Taylor got. I don't think he is. He should be.
No.
They should induct him.
Man. Yeah,
he worked Bam Bam Bigelow. WrestleMania
I was gonna say,
10.
now, yeah,
probably the greatest.
Bam Bam Bigelow
could be the greatest celebrity match of all time. To be honest with you, he did a really good job.
Yeah, there's the outrage. Not that Pete Rose is not in the Hall of Fame. Is Lawrence Taylor is not in the WWE Hall of Fame. Not more outrage about that.
We'll have to make that happen.
And I'm not outraged about Pete. By the way, Pete Rose should never be in the Hall of Fame.
No, yeah,
you broke the one rule you can't break.
That is,
you gamble.
Yeah, I agree with that. But
you can't do it. There's a reason for it.
He'll be in Roger Clemens Hall of Fame when Roger. Clemens
maybe when maybe when the baseball season starts or they have the induction, we'll do like a Hall of Fame. We'll do like a Hall. I'll come by. We'll do like a Hall of Fame.
The Hall of Fame, not in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
that's a pretty great idea.
Yeah.
But all right, let me let you go. It's 10:40.
Joe DiMaggio didn't even get in first ballot, and freaking David Ortiz. Give me a break.
Again,
right?
It's popularity, but.
VJ was fun.
It was. We'll do this again after the Super Bowl. Deal?
When are we gonna get on and talk politics?
We'll do that on your podcast. How about that?
Yeah.
And then maybe we'll transition to my Twitch channel.
Yeah.
Eventually. But yeah, we'll do that on your podcast first, and then I've been trying to keep this a little bit more mellow. I do watch a lot of political Twitch streamers, so there's a lot of good ones out there. But
nice.
All right. Thanks, man. We'll see you next time.
Man.
And to the channel, until next time, see ya. Bye, Nick.
See you, V.